Hi guys, hope everyone's having a nice day or night so far. If you're new to my channel, welcome, thanks for tuning in. And if you're not already yet subscribed, go ahead and do that because once I hit 1,000 subscribers, which I'm so close, I am going to be doing a giveaway and I just want to show you guys what I got you. Today's video has been pretty highly requested and I don't know why I haven't done one before, and it's a makeup tutorial for beginners. So I'm showing you guys and sharing with you some tips and tricks that will help you if you're just starting out applying makeup. Everybody starts somewhere, and let's be honest, like makeup can be intimidating. So today's video might be a little long, but I just wanted to make sure that I really helped and explained and shared with you all the tips I have. I will go ahead and link all the products I used in the description box down below. That way, if you want to get them and recreate this look, you can do that. Hopefully after watching this tutorial, the idea of applying makeup won't be so scary. So if you want to know in detail how I got this look, then let's get to the tutorial. Alrighty guys, so the first step is using a good primer. And I put emphasis on good just because sometimes using a bad primer is almost as bad as not using one at all. So if you can't find a good primer, you can go ahead and skip this step until you find one that does two things. Your primer is supposed to help your makeup go on smoothly. It's supposed to help your makeup stick to the primer rather than sticking to your face and settling in your fine lines. The other thing a primer is supposed to do is help your makeup last throughout the day. So if you can't find one that does both, honestly, I recommend just skipping the primer. But right now, my favorite primer I've been using is by Acti-Labs. This stuff does both really well, makes the makeup go on smooth and helps it last all day. Also, it's paraben free, so I don't have to worry about it causing breakouts. Another tip with primer is you really don't need to use a lot because you don't want your skin getting greasy or thick before you even put your foundation on. Next step is your foundation. So what I like to do is I like to put my foundation, oh, I'm running out of this stuff. No! I like to put my foundation on the back of my hand. It gives me a little more control rather than trying to just squeeze it right on a brush, because this is how I like to apply it. I like to dot it all over my face, and where you dot it, you want to do it in your areas that need the most coverage, just because that first initial... Okay. Someone must be outside. Mama! So anyways, you want to dot on areas that you need the most coverage, because where you put the foundation down initially, that's where you're going to get the most pigmentation and color payoff, I guess I should say. Now we're gonna go ahead and blend our foundation, and I like to use more thick structured brushes. So as you can see, this brush has lots of brushes and they're all compacted together. I think it does a better job of blending. And this is an e.l.f. brush, guys. I'm gonna try to use kind of affordable brushes and stuff. That way, you know, if you're just starting out with makeup, you really don't need to invest in super inexpensive brushes, at least in my opinion. And e.l.f. has some really good cheaper brushes that do a really nice job. Now, another thing I like to do for extra coverage is with leftover that's on the back of my hand, I'll just go ahead and take my finger and rub that into the areas, like so over here I have a little more scarring, and I'm just gonna manually rub that into my skin. Now we're going to be using concealer to highlight. So I like to use, especially for beginners, if you don't really know how to put it on, I really like the concealers that have the wands like this. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go in downward strokes. You don't wanna go swiping horizontally like this, because you want the lines, like you want your face lines to be vertical. Any kind of vertical lines is gonna elongate your face. Anything horizontal is going to make it look wider. So even though we're going to blend this out, you still want to just put that initial direction going vertical. So you're just putting that under your eyes. I like to put it up here and on my eyelids, because this is going to act as a primer for our eyeshadow later. Then you're just going to go right in between your eyebrows and do a little mini tree. And so I know this part of makeup is really scary if you haven't done it before. Honestly, it doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. You can do like swirly, like they're not symmetrical. You're gonna blend it out. So I put a little bit over my cupid's bow here. Your cupid's bow is that little indent right above your lip. and then down your nose. Again, like, look how sloppy it can get. It really doesn't matter because you're gonna blend it out anyway, so don't worry about it. Now, I like to blend in my concealer with my fingers. I feel like I get a little more control, and I feel like I keep more of the product on my face. However, if you like beauty blenders, those are really good to blend out concealer, or you can, if you have a favorite brush, but I like using my fingers, and the warmth from your fingers will help to blend it in even more. The next step is you want to set your face and your concealer. So you can take any kind of powder. You can use, I'm using a translucent finishing powder, but any of your favorite powders will do. The purpose of setting your makeup is foundation, concealer, all of that is a liquid wet consistency. So if you just leave it without setting it with powder, it's gonna slide around throughout the day, even if you put the best primer. So setting your makeup with powder is a really important step, especially if you concealed. So first, I just pat it on my concealed areas. And then with the leftover that's on the brush, I'm using an e.l.f. Kabuki brush. So with the leftover powder, I'm just continuing brushing that on my face. All right, so now we're getting into kind of what might be intimidating for beginners is contouring. So the point of contouring is to create shadows on your face to make your face look slimmer and give it more structure. The point is not to have like crazy lines or anything like that. You want it to look natural. So a little trick I like to do first is I like to go in and bronze my face first. So any kind of bronzer. So I'm just getting a big fluffy brush. Again, this is an e.l.f. brush, really cheap. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go back and forth in the hollows of my cheeks. So when I say the hollows of your cheeks, right, probably yours should be around above your ear. So if you press, you can feel where your cheekbone is and then the hollow of your cheek. So right under there is where you want to do your contour on your face. So I just went ahead, and this one I'm just doing swiping back and forth. You don't want to do too much circle because then it's just going to get all over your face and you don't have as much control. I'm putting it on the hollows on my cheeks, and then I'm coming up. If you have a bigger forehead like I do, you can go ahead and bring your bronzer all the way across here. However, if you are not worried about having a big forehead, or if you have a small forehead, I would just do the temple area. Another area you want to bronze is right underneath your jawline. This will help to give your jawline a more defined look. So now we kind of have a base for our contour. We have an idea where it's gonna go, so you're not just blindly going in and contouring your face. So if you're just starting out using makeup, I recommend doing powder. Once you get a little more comfortable, then you can start using liquids, but for now, powder is a little bit easier to work with, easier to blend, and it's a little less intimidating, honestly. So I'm gonna take, this is my contour kit from Acti-Labs, and I'm gonna take this contour color, and I'm using, again, an e.l.f. brush. So to make it easy on yourself, get a flat brush like this. You see how it's super structured and it's the perfect contour brush. A little trick I like to do is you want your contour to be a little darker, more towards your ear, and then gradiently fade out. So to help you do that easier, just put the contour on kind of about this much of the brush and leave this brush with no product on it. It'll help you to get that gradient ombre look. Again, I'm gonna find the hollows of my cheeks, and that is where I'm going to place this. And I'm gonna start, I want the darker portion to be closer to your hair. A little trick on where to stop is see how my eye color ends here? Kind of bring that all the way down, and that is where you want your contour to stop. You don't want it to stop, again, you don't want it to stop abruptly right there. That's where you want like the fade to stop. All right, so now to blend that out, you want to flick up. This is a really nice trick that I like to do, is flick up. Whatever you do, don't flick down, because again, you still want that clean look. You don't want it to look blotchy or all over your face. Now to blend it out even more, you're gonna take, I'm just using the brush that I used for my setting powder, and you wanna rub the hardest at the top, because that's where you want it lightest. So I'm rubbing here, and then as I get down more towards the darker end, I'm not pushing as hard. I'm kind of just lightly dusting it just to get rid of any harsh lines. Now I'll go ahead and do the other side. Now we're gonna go ahead and do blush. I'm taking my blusher palette by Acti-Labs. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this color right here. It's a nice, soft, neutral pink color. It'll look great on everyone, and it's not too dark, so if you end up, you know, putting too much on, you won't have too much trouble blending it out. So I'm taking, this is a BH Cosmetics brush. Guys, BH Cosmetics is another company that has really affordable brushes that do a really good job. You have to order them online, but they do a really good job. So this one's a fluffier brush, and I'm just going to dip that in my color, tap it off. To help you figure out where to put it, give yourself a smile, a coconut smile, just kidding. And so you're gonna wanna put it on the apples of your cheeks. By apples, I mean it's the part that kind of sticks out. You see right here? Can you just picture a little apple right here? That's where you wanna put your blush. If you just kind of glob it on in the front, it doesn't look as natural. I like to bring mine back, that way it blends in with my contour. And I'm kind of just going in a circular motion and then swiping back. Next, we're gonna go ahead and get into brows. So brows are probably the hardest part of doing your makeup, honestly, guys. So first thing you wanna do is go ahead and spoolie them, brush them out. That way you don't have any like crazy ones all over the place. As far as the products you want to use, it's really a personal preference. I think if you're starting out, it's a lot easier to use a wax just because it's a happy medium kind of between a pencil and a powder. I think powders, you don't have as much control. You don't get as much of a precise line. And then with pencils, sometimes it's too precise. So you have to really like be careful. A wax is a nice happy medium. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my brow wax from Acti-Labs. And you wanna get a thin angled brush. See how it's thin, but it's nice and sharp? That's what I'm gonna use. And again, personal preference on where you wanna start. A lot of people like to start on their tail. I like to kind of start more in the middle and then go to my tail. So it's all personal preference. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going at the base of my eyebrows here, and I'm going straight across. And then once I've gotten most of the product off my brush, then I'm going to go inwards. So now that I got my bottom line, I'm going to move to my tail. I like to start kind of up about right here, and then I'm just going to go straight down. Once you have this part done, it's a lot easier from here. So now again, I'm gonna take more product and I'm gonna start in the middle of my brow and just put product right above my natural hairs and in my hair. Again, once I got most of the product off, I'm gonna bring some product towards the front. Now you wanna take your brush and put it vertically. So once you get towards the end, that's how you're gonna hold your brush because it'll help you keep that nice shape. And also you can even like start doing flicking motions to mimic real hair. Now I'm gonna go ahead and fill in my tail area. If you mess up on the point, I do this all the time anyways, you can use your finger to kind of help give a natural point. We'll do that in a minute. Okay, so you can see how it's kind of a little long and it's a little rounded. So what I'm gonna do is just take my finger, and that's all right. You just take your finger to wipe that away. Then go back in a little bit and touch up the tip. And that is the gist of it. So now you wanna make sure and go back in and spoolie it through. This will help blend all the product. It'll help everything look natural and together. And bam, you have eyebrows. You guys, I forgot highlight. Shame on me. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my illuminating palette, and I mean, it's a hot mess because I use this for my mermaid tutorial. Highlight, guys, you can put on with your finger. You get a little more concentrated highlight and you have more control. So your highlight, I can't believe I forgot this, sorry guys. Highlight, you're gonna put right over top of your blush on the top of your cheekbone. And that's where you wanna put your finger down first because that's where you want the most highlight, and then you can kind of blend up into your temples. Boom, you got highlight. Another area you can highlight too is on your Cupid's bow, where we put the concealer for highlighting as well. So now we're gonna move on to eyes. What I like to do first before I get any kind of eyeshadow or anything like that, I like to curl and do a couple layers of mascara. For me, I have blonde, straight eyelashes, so if you have that issue, it helps to go ahead and do the majority of your eyelashes before. That way you're not curling and putting re-mascara, and that way you don't get that wand mascara on all over your eyeshadow. So that's why I prefer to do it first. Alright, so a little tip for those of you gals like me who have super straight eyelashes, and if you have an issue keeping them curly once you put mascara on, put a layer of waterproof mascara on as your first coat. The waterproof mascara will hold your lashes. It's almost like a hairspray for your eyelashes. It'll hold them in place much better than a non-waterproof mascara. Yes, waterproof mascara can be a pain to get off, but I recommend this Maybelline Mega Plush. It's actually not too bad to get off. You can use lotion, Vaseline, makeup remover. That should get it right off. And when you apply mascara, you want to start at the base, and I like to zigzag and wiggle up. What that's going to do is it's going to deposit the most of the mascara at the base of your lashes, making them look fuller. And wiggling them will help to separate. So now that we have our eyelashes curled and a base on them, then we can go ahead and start our eyeshadow. I'm going to show you a really simple, easy eyeshadow look. As you get more practice, you can get more adventurous and start, doing cut creases, mixing with colors, things like that. But I wanted to keep it nice, simple, and easy for you. So you're gonna need 3 brushes. You're gonna want a nice, big, fluffy crease brush. This is gonna help for blending. It's gonna do a really good job of really getting into your crease. You're also gonna want a more tapered crease brush. This one is from e.l.f. So see, it's a little smaller than the original. And then you're going to want a structured flat brush. Again, this is an e.l.f. brush. It's actually labeled a concealer brush, but as long as it's thin, flat, and structured, it's doable. Now you want to go ahead and pick out 3 colors. You're going to want 2 mattes and a shimmer for this look. So I'm taking my Vendomi palette, and for my crease in the outer portion of my eye, I'm going to be using this color right here. Then for my lid, I'm going to be taking this nice matte neutral yellow color, almost like a banana shade. This is a really versatile color and it looks great on everyone. Same thing, your crease color, you want to pick something neutral. And for the shimmer shade, I'm going to go ahead and use this one right here. It's almost like I'll go ahead and swatch it for you. So it's kind of like a silvery, has kind of hints of champagne to it. So first I'm going to go ahead and take that fluffy crease brush and I'm going to take that matte taupe shade here. I'm going to dip it and you want to tap it off, and I'm going to go ahead, so in your crease, if you touch your eye, you can feel your eyeball, and the space between your eyebrow bone and your eyeball, that is your crease. That is the area I'm talking about when I say crease. So just like any kind of makeup, wherever you put your brush down first, that is where you're going to deposit the most amount of color. So I'm going to put my brush down on my outer corner first. And I'm doing little tiny circles. You can hardly tell I'm actually doing circles. And then you're gonna shove that brush. See how it's like getting shoved into my crease, into that little crevice in between my eyeball and my brow bone. And you're gonna just go back and forth. Again, you don't want too much color right away because it's better to build up than to dab a bunch of color and then try to blend and blend and blend. So now I'm gonna pick up a little more of that same color. I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, Alice is really on alert today. Jessie's out scouting with my dad, so she thinks she really has to protect the house. You don't want to go too much on your lid. You want to keep it in the crease. So see how I'm not rubbing it all over my lid? I'm keeping it above my eyeball. Okay, so we have that done. Now we're going to take that smaller tapered brush, and I'm going to take that matte banana color. And this we're going to put on our lid. So if you close your eyes, when I'm talking about your lid, it's the opposite of the crease. So you're just putting it right over where your eyeball is. You don't want to go up above that. So I'm just putting it on top of my eyeball. And I'm concentrating most of the color and most of the pigment inside. As I go out, I'm kind of blending it in and flicking. See how I'm kind of flicking like this? You don't want it to be super extreme, white and then your crease color. Alright, so now we're going in with our flat brush and we're going in with that shimmer shade. Again, I'm using this color right here. And you can choose whatever you want. They have a nice champagne color would look really pretty. Anything shimmery or metallic-y, it doesn't even have to be sparkle. It can be shimmery, metallic, something other than matte. Here, where I want to put my brush down first is kind of in the middle of my eye and towards the bottom. So I'm going to put my brush down there. And when you're using shimmers, metallics, glitters with a flat brush, you do a patting motion. That way it really just sticks on the lid. It's not going to get all over your face. So I'm patting it in the middle, and then I'm kind of slowly bringing it up. Again, just keeping this on my eyeball. And by putting it in the middle of your eye, it's going to help open up your eye. It's going to make it brighter and bigger and give some dimension to your lids. And guys, it doesn't have to be perfect either. If you're getting frustrated, and this is what was hard for me when I started makeup, is I'm a perfectionist. So I thought, oh my God, it's too hard. There's no way I could do it, because I thought it had to be perfect. It really doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. And again, the more you practice, the better you'll get. Oh, sorry guys, I lied. You're gonna need one more type of brush. And again, this one's from BH Cosmetics. It's a little tiny pointed structured brush. So now for the finishing touch, I'm going back in with that banana powder, and I'm going to just put that right under my brow bone. Now I like to use a matte under my brow bone. A lot of people like to use shimmers, and sometimes I will use shimmers. However, I think, especially if you're using a shimmer on your lid, and then if we're gonna do a shimmer in our tear duct, I prefer to use a matte under my brow. Now we're gonna take that same brush, and you're gonna want a white shimmery shade, just like this one here. This one almost has kind of like a pearly type finish, so that's perfect for your inner corner. And we're gonna take that small brush again, and we're just gonna go in the inner corner. Again, this is gonna help brighten up our eyes and really make them pop. Now we're gonna go ahead and move on to eyeliner. So again, if you're just starting out, I wouldn't recommend a liquid liner. It's kind of hard to work with if you are just starting off. You can use a pencil. A pencil would be a really great start to use. However, sometimes with pencils, it's really hard to get closer to the lash line. So again, I like to use a happy medium, and I'm gonna use a gel eyeliner. You still get that nice, dark, defined liner, but it's not as hard to use as liquid liner. So I'm using this gel eyeliner, and I'm using black brown. So especially if you are fair or if you have light skin, I recommend using a brown. That sounds crazy, and you're probably like, ew, no, eyeliner is supposed to be black. But if you have light eyes, light hair, lighter complexion, you'd be surprised how nice a dark brown looks. Again, but if you have darker hair and darker eyes, use a black. The black would look much better. And for a brush, I'm using this e.l.f. small precision brush. It's super tiny, super structured, and this is gonna be the easiest thing to use that will give you the most control. So you're gonna wanna dip your brush in. And as you can see, so it's kind of messy in there, and that's because I like to wipe the tip off on the edge, because you don't want a big glob of makeup. You want to get the brush saturated, but you don't want too much product on there. I know a lot of people say not to pull your eye, it's bad for wrinkles and stuff, but I find it makes it a lot easier when your skin is nice and tight. When you don't pull your eye, your skin is loose, and it's easy to wiggle around, and it's easy to mess up. So try pulling your skin down, and you want to go right on top of your lash line, and I'm brushing out. You want to go one way and stick with it. So now we're getting towards the outer corner, and then the gel liner is nice and pliable, so you can just kind of do this if you overshot. So now for the finishing touch, we're gonna put some more mascara on, and I'm gonna be using my Skyscraper mascara. And again, just like we did with the waterproof, you're just gonna start at the base, wiggle, and bring up. So instead of putting any eyeshadow on my bottom lash, it can be a little intimidating, and it's a little hard to control. And I know when I first started, I was like, oh my God, I look like a raccoon. So instead of just leaving it blank, you can go ahead and put some mascara on the bottom lashes, and it will still help define your eye. Last step is lips. So a little tip on color choice. When you're just starting off, I would pick something that is more nude or a little bit closer to your lip color. Only because if you haven't had a lot of practice applying lipstick, if you use a darker color, it's gonna be easier to see the mistake. And with the lighter color, you're not gonna notice as much. So I'm gonna be using Acti-Labs Mega Matte Liquid Lipstick in Angel Pink. It's really close to my natural lip color. I like to start on my bottom lip and then go to my top. So it helps if you kind of pull your lips, and you're just gonna follow the natural line of your lip. Make sure to get like in the corners of your lips. That way it doesn't look like you just drank Kool-Aid or something. And I kind of just, that way I get like the under part of my lips, if you put your lips together. Now we're gonna move to the top. And again, if you mess up a little bit, that's totally okay. You can go back in with the foundation and kind of clean it up if you have to. You can always fix anything, pretty much, so don't worry about messing up. And another quick tip also about liquid lipsticks, especially if they're mattes, make sure to get it all in one coat. Anytime you start putting multiple layers of liquid lipstick, it starts building up and getting thick, and you don't want that. You want a nice, one even layer. Alrighty guys, and that really is all there is to it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys learned something. I hope I helped you out a little bit. Like I said, if you're new and are intimidated by applying makeup, just practice, you guys. Like on days where you don't have anywhere to go and you're just gonna be home anyways, like practice with your makeup. That way, if it looks bad, you know, you don't have to go out or anything like that. Honestly, practice is, I know it's like a cliche thing, but practice makes perfect. So just keep going with it. You'll get better and better every time. Again, like I said, I'll link all the products I used in today's video down below. That way, if you want to get them so you can follow along with the same products, you can do that. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos. And other than that, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.